never took any of it seriously. Maybe if I'd grown up differently, a little older, or even a little younger, I'd have looked at it differently. But I was just old enough to both grow up with the internet and have enough cynicism about it that I assumed that everything on there was bullshit. A bunch of nerds and attention seekers playing at stuff on their computers and phones rather than face real life. Growing up, I looked down on a lot of those people. People desperate to get famous, too lazy or stupid to get a real job. I'd grown up in a family where we didn't have extra money, and the money we did have was because we worked hard for it. If my father found out I was streaming or begging for money on YouTube rather than go out and get a real job, he'd have kicked my ass. Hell, for a long time I'd have kicked my own ass. But things like pride and feeling superior are kind of luxuries. People say all the time what they won't do for money. But when I got laid off 3 years into what was supposed to be a long-term career, well, let's just say my list of things I wouldn't do got a fuck-ton shorter. I was applying for new jobs, sure, but it was a slow process, especially if I was going to get something similar to what I'd been doing for at least somewhat similar pay. I had a little cushion of savings, but not a lot. And the only reason I had that was because I was saving for an engagement ring for my girlfriend, Jackie. In between interviews and the occasional odd job to make a little extra, I found myself several days a week with little to do except wait and feel like shit about myself. So, I started a YouTube channel. Starting the channel wasn't hard, but at first I had no idea what to put on there. It wasn't so much that I was nervous about making videos. I knew how to do basic video software stuff, and while I didn't like public speaking, this didn't feel like that to me. More like I was making little TV shows and then shooting them out into space. The problem was knowing what to make videos about. I had interests, but no real hobbies. I had work experience, but nothing anyone would find interesting. I had things I knew about, but I wasn't an expert at anything. And obviously, anything involving traveling, trying out products, or showing off lavish lifestyles was out, as I only had enough money to cover 2 months' rent. After looking at different types of popular videos on different platforms, I weeded out most categories as either impossible or not a good fit for me. By that afternoon, I'd accepted that I kept coming back to the same topic: danger. There were lots of kinds of dangerous videos, of course, not counting clips of accidents and bad luck, which were popular, but more about compiling lots of clips than developing a following or personality. Those channels could be popular, but they could die off fast if someone else did it better or those kind of videos fell off. But there were other kinds of danger, of course. More personal kinds. The channels that focused on dangerous stunts, for instance, or handling dangerous animals, or going places you really shouldn't go. I didn't have a desire to actually get hurt, of course, and I didn't have the resources to travel, get a bunch of equipment, or fake something elaborate in a convincing fashion. It was a long shot I'd make any money from the channel anyway, and I knew it was mainly just a distraction from my growing stress and depression. But if I was going to try, I wanted to give myself the best chance of being popular while being as cheap and safe as possible. And when I thought about it like that, the answer became a lot simpler. The supernatural. People love that shit. Ghosts, Ouija boards, demons, you name it. Those videos required little real cost or effort. Just somebody faking being scared and some sinister free music on top of it. I'd have to do a bit of acting, but after watching some of my competition, I didn't feel like it'd be too hard to do better than most. All I had to do was get into character and force myself to think, at least for a few minutes, that the danger was real. Because I didn't believe in any of that stuff. That was the best part. The people that watched that crap, they didn't care that it was bad or unconvincing, They either believed in it blindly and ignored the flaws in logic and credibility, or they just found it entertaining and didn't care. Either way, I could get the benefits of making a dangerous video without any actual danger. I considered doing some kind of ghost hunting video, but that required finding locations to travel to and either getting permission or trespassing. What seemed faster, easier, and probably cheaper was opening cursed objects bought off the internet. The idea was really simple. There's tons of stuff on eBay and other places that claim to be cursed or haunted or whatever. Some of it is really expensive, but not all of it. A day or two of research, and I got pretty good at weeding through duds. Fake listings, cheap crap that would look cheesy on camera, and things that were too expensive. By the end of that first week, I had 3 bids up. One for a cursed motorcycle helmet, another for a haunted dollhouse, and the last one for a DYBBUK box. The box was the first one to arrive, which surprised me. DYBBUK boxes have gotten popular, and many of them are way more money than I could spend. At $20 plus shipping, this one wasn't bad. But I was also half expecting to get something vastly different than the picture, if I got anything at all. Instead, it was even more impressive in person. The box was made of real wood, with metal hinges and a latch that were all buried under a thick layer of melted black wax. Despite not believing in any of that stuff, when I was holding the box, I couldn't help but feel a bit of nervous dread. Laughing at myself, I set the box down on the kitchen counter and started setting up for the video. I'd planned to think it all out more and do a script, but something about being genuinely creeped out by the box excited me, and I wanted to capture my reaction while it was somewhat genuine. 10 minutes later, I was sitting on my sofa, staring into my camera's phone awkwardly and trying to think how to start. I had the screen shared to my TV, so I could see myself looking nervous and uncomfortable. It just made me feel worse. So I turned it off and looked back at the camera. Hey guys, this is, my name's Brent. As you could probably tell, I'm new to this whole making videos thing, and I apologize in advance for any mistakes I make along the way. Still figuring out what this channel's gonna be, but I'm leaning toward this kind of content. And what kind of content is that? Stuff like this box here. This is, it's a DYBBUK box. You may be familiar with this kind of thing, but if you're like me and you weren't, well, these are supposed to be like cursed boxes. Like, they have an evil spirit trapped inside, and you're not supposed to open it or let it out. So, naturally, people sell them on eBay, so idiots like me can buy them and open them anyway. Now, I don't want to be fake on this channel, so I'll be honest. I don't know that I believe in this kind of stuff. I mean, I don't claim to know everything, and I keep an open mind, but it just seems like something from a horror movie, right? Still, this box is really fucking creepy. Shit, can I curse on this? Oh, well, I guess I did. And other people do, so hopefully you'll be okay. Anyway, this box is really a lot better than what I expected. Like, just the box itself is probably worth more than I paid for it. And that's not counting the wax and shit, stuff. Plus, whatever might be inside. So, yeah, I guess that's it for a start. Let's open this bad boy up, yeah? I got my trusty kitchen knife, and I'll just kind of... Damn, I have to kind of saw through this wax. It's no joke. Now that side. Okay. I think we can open it now. Ready? Here we go. It's... What is this? It's a camera? Guys? Someone put a camera in the box. It's like attached to the bottom looking up at me, and there's a light on. Is it actually recording? Let me see if... Fuck, it's really in there. Okay, finally got it free. Yeah, it's just like this weird little camera with an antenna-looking thing and a light blinking. See? No screen or brand label or anything. There was something else in there, too. What's that? It's a cat. A little plastic black cat. I set the box down and stopped recording. What the fuck was this? Some kind of prank where someone sends a box and then records video of whoever opens it? What kind of sense does that make? And what kind of camera was it that it could record for days or maybe weeks until someone opened it? I turned the little camera over again in my hand. There was another pair of holes next to the flashing light. One might be a mic, and the other could be like a light sensor, maybe? Maybe it didn't start recording until the box opened and let enough light in. But why? And if it was broadcasting, where was it broadcasting to? Uneasy fear began crawling through my belly. This could be a joke, or it could be some nut. Putting the camera back in the box, I eased the lid back down. Either way, it could be really awesome for a follow-up video. Smiling to myself, I started uploading the first video to the channel. I'd give it overnight and then I could do a follow-up. If people actually saw the videos and liked them, I could maybe drag it out for a while until I thought of something new. Upload complete. The video only got 28 views before I went to bed, but by the next morning it was up to over 400. Not anything to write home about, but not bad for a start. And there were 3 or 4 comments. One of them even asked what happened next. I was getting ready to make the second video when I got a call from my mother. My father had been outside cleaning a gutter when he fell. She was upset and hard to make out, but she told me she was riding in the ambulance and for me to meet them at the hospital. When I asked if he was okay, she didn't answer at first. Then she just said I should hurry. He was already gone before I reached the ER 30 minutes later. The paramedics told my mother it looked like he'd been on a ladder cleaning out the gutter when he fell. Hit his head on the corner of the brickwork surrounding the back flower beds. When Mama repeated that to me, I just stared at her. Why would he do that? His knee was bad. He had that little stepladder and the grabber pole that he'd used for stuff like that. He's done that for years since his knee surgery. Why would he climb up a regular ladder like that? She just shook her head, staring out at me from wet, wounded eyes. I don't know, honey. I didn't know he was doing it. He said he was going to clear out the gutters, but I thought, well, like you said, I thought he'd do it the safe way. The way he always does. She shrugged. Maybe he got impatient or couldn't reach something? She trailed off into another series of soft sobs. Putting an arm around her, I sat silently for a few minutes, trying not to cry myself as I turned everything over again in my head. It made no sense. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text message. When I took it out, it was just a single word from a restricted number. Meow. I thought about the DYBBUK box and the camera inside when I got the message. Of course I did. There was that stupid black cat in there, too. But I didn't have time to worry about some prank bullshit at the time, so I ignored it. I went through the process of grieving, of helping my mother and sister and brother with the funeral arrangements, and everything else that comes with that kind of thing. I'd almost forgotten about it entirely when Jackie called me, crying. She was best friends with my sister. That's how we'd met in the first place. They'd met for lunch that day and then separated. Jackie was going back to work downtown, while my sister was taking the subway out to where her boyfriend lived. Jackie had walked down with her to the platform, had said she was going to wait until the next train came, but when she saw what time it was, she decided to head on back up to the office instead of waiting. She was only halfway up the steps back to the street when she heard the screaming start. My sister had somehow fallen or jumped onto the tracks just as her train was coming. That's what the cops claimed after watching the video. It took a week, but when we finally got to see it ourselves, Mom started crying while I started yelling at the detective. There was a crowd of people around her. And no, I couldn't specifically see someone push her. But didn't they have another angle? Had they interviewed everyone on that platform? The detective took my yelling for a minute before holding up his hand. There wasn't any other camera covering that part of the platform better, or from a different angle where you could see more. And we've talked to 10 people. That's not... I know, that's not everybody. But we've talked to everyone that we could ID. It's not like TV, where we can just have a computer find people based on some grainy shot of half their face. These cameras are for liability and to deter crime, not give high-resolution pictures of everyone it sees. It may be that people will still come forward, but for now, we think it was an accident. Maybe she lost her balance or even blacked out for a second. It happens, even with younger people. I felt my phone buzz in my pocket, but I ignored it. I kept arguing with him for another 10 minutes. But then Mom wanted to go, so I shut up and took her back home. It was only when I was getting back in my car from dropping her off that I checked my phone. I had another restricted caller text message. Meow. Gritting my teeth, I stabbed my thumb at the screen. Who the fuck is this? Why are you texting me? A thought flared in my mind, and I almost added, Did you kill my sister? My dad? But no. That was stupid. How would that even work? He was just the same dumb fuck that had mailed me that box, sending another message because I'd never respond, and he was bored. No need to be stupid about it myself by turning it into some conspiracy. Still holding my phone, I started thinking about who I should complain to about this sloppy investigation. When my phone buzzed and lit up again, the unknown texter had sent a picture. It showed a gloved hand holding half a brick that was dark with dried blood. What the fuck? Suddenly the photo was gone, replaced with another. This one showed Jackie and my sister walking down the subway steps right before my sister died. Blood roaring in my ears. I went to call 911 when the photo was gone, just like the other one. How was he pulling the pictures back? I searched through any photo apps and folders, but there was nothing. I hadn't had time to save either of them before they were gone. And clearly this psycho had access to my phone somehow. I could try to tell the police, but after how I just acted, I doubted they'd believe me without proof. Hands trembling, I tried to send another text. I typed and deleted half a dozen versions. Threats, demands, angry and sad pleas for it to stop. None of it would matter. I had no idea who was behind this, and none of that was asking the right question. Letting out a long, shaky breath, I tried again and sent it. What do you want? There was only a few seconds pause this time before my phone lit up again. Leave your door open tonight, and I'll come back like a good little cat. I did as they asked. I knew it was stupid, but I didn't want to involve anyone else. As insane as it was, this was all my fault, and I had to try and fix it. So I hit a camera to record the living room and down the entry hall, got my bat out of the hall closet, and unlocked the door. Then I sat down on the sofa and waited. If they actually showed up, I'd get them to say something incriminating. And if they were too smart for that, I'd beat them down until they changed their mind. Either way, they weren't leaving again unless they were in handcuffs or fucking... I woke up staring at my bedroom ceiling. I was on my bed, but I couldn't move my head or any other part of my body more than a little. Thick bands lay across my head, chest, and legs, binding me tightly to the mattress underneath. Though I couldn't turn to look and the room was semi-dark, I could still sense the presence hovering outside my vision's edge. When it spoke, its voice was soft and raspy. "You may have a headache from the gas I piped in. When this is done, drink a lot of water. Take some ibuprofen, it should pass." "Why are you doing this?" "No, that's not important. Not to you. Whatever my personal motivations, they don't really matter in your life, do they? Your texted question of what do I want was more generalized, but equally pointless to your situation. So try again." Tears were welling in my eyes now, pooling and spilling down my cheeks and into my ears, as I tried to keep my voice steady while my brain and guts burned with rage and terror. "What? No. Did I cause this?" A soft laugh, and then... "That's better. Yes, you did." I stifled a sob and went on. "How? Do you know what DYBBUK means? It comes from an old Hebrew word. It means to cling. When you opened the box that you bought and opened knowing it was a DYBBUK, you offered yourself. Your stupid sheep face staring down into that box. I almost vomited when I first saw it. I wanted to cut it off. Cut it off and burn it. Did you kill my dad and sister?" "You already know the answer to that. Your cat is getting bored." Just kill me. Just take me and kill me and leave everyone else alone, okay?" Another soft laugh. "Oh no. You don't bargain your way out of this. You don't martyr yourself or try to escape it. That will only make it worse for them. No. I will cling to you, as we've agreed, you and I, until the work is done." "What work?" I let out a startled yelp as a mask pumping out bitter gas was clamped down over my mouth and nose. "I will eat out your life, hollow you out from tip to tail, and when that is done, I'll pour in something better and true." When I woke up the next time, the bonds were gone, and my head was killing me. Judging from the bedsheets, I'd been crying in my drugged sleep. Rolling to my side, I tried to force myself to sit up, but I was still groggy. Everything felt heavy, and my phone started buzzing. It was right next to me on the bed, dancing like an angry bee as I reached out and turned it over. It was Jackie's father. He never called me. When I answered the call, he was already crying. Become a channel member today for early access, bonus videos, and special emojis only available to members. Check out the description below or click the join button for more info.
If you'd like another way to help support the channel, please consider joining my Patreon page at patreon.com/JordanGroupeHorror. As a patron, you'll get access to bonus videos and content. You'll be credited at the end of every video going forward. And if you decide to stay for 3 months, I'll name a character after you, which will be featured in a Hollow's End story. Links to join the Patreon are in the description. Thanks everyone for listening. Please like, subscribe, and comment to help the channel continue to grow. And see you again next time at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you have a great night.